Hey guys, what's going on? This is Travis P11 and I'm coming to you from a jam-packed craft gun room, or at least that's what the wife calls it. We've got the crafting gun going on over there and we've got the gun stuff going on over here. And what we have are two boxes in front of us, and in case you don't remember, I wouldn't say I picked up sponsorship, but I did make a connection with a local business. The business is SS Pawn in Lexington, Nebraska. Stan's the owner, and their number is 308-746-7700. And Stan and I have worked out a deal where he's going to loan me guns to do reviews, and I take my time and give them back to him, clean them and give them back to him, and that's pretty much it. I'm allowed to do whatever kind of unbiased review I want to, and that's what I plan on doing. I'm going to give you the viewpoint of a person that's not very experienced when it comes to shooting, and just simply talk about how the gun feels at the range, give you my initial impression. So let's I was going to save this for the next video. Let's just go ahead and show what we're going to be taking to the range. All right, we'll be taking these to the range this weekend. Okay, we've got ourselves a Ruger box. Right now, nothing real exotic and crazy. These are just guns I've never fired before, and I want to see how they are. Okay, so the first gun is just your simple, straightforward, perfect for concealed carry. By the way, all these firearms have been safety checked before I'm getting them on camera. The SR9C, okay, your SR9 compact, right? It's cool, cool. I had a 9E, which was similar with the frame, but it was much larger. So it'll be interesting to see how this compares to that. Of course, that 9E was actually the first gun video I ever did on YouTube, which is kind of cool. And the second firearm that Stan loaned me, it's kind of cool. I've got some rounds for it. I'm going to have to pick a few more up. It is a Kel-Tec. And we are looking at the PMR-30. This is your 22 Magnum handgun. Very cool. I've never fired 22 Magnum at all before. I fired 22 long, 22 short. Never fired a 17 whatever WMR or HMR. Never done it, but PMR-30. This is gonna be interesting, just to see how this thing feels and see what the recoil feels like and how it sounds. Now, Stan told me that he's fired this one a bit, and he says it is fun to shoot. So we're gonna see how that one is too. So I'm just gonna give you just kind of a firing range test. I'll shoot from different distances, just kind of give you my initial impression of it. You know, what is somebody who doesn't have a lot of experience? I mean, I'm more of a recreational, hobbyist shooter more than anything. What does a person like that experience when they fire a gun like this for the first time? And that's kind of what I want to bring you with these range videos. And the fact that I can get the guns and take my time with them and shoot them and enjoy them and give them back makes it even better. So again, last time, give Stan a call if you're looking for a good deal on a firearm. I believe he does ship, and he's very, very fair on his price. You can also go through Gun Genie and buy guns from there, which is at davidsons.com, and you can have the gun shipped to Stan, right? And you can pay for it there and pick it up and finish out your paperwork and get it from there. But he does ship too, and he has great prices. I do like to give him business because he saves me about an 80-mile round trip to the next big city over that sells guns. And so anyway, what are we doing? Why are we looking at this table? Why do we have all these cans just sitting out? I got a viewer request, believe it or not. This is really cool. I actually got a real viewer request. There's a dude named AWAG1000. If you're on any of the gun channels, lobbies, if you're on neverenoughAmmo.com or Never Enough Ammo's podcast, AWAG's in there quite a bit. And he loves watching my videos. The guy gives me a lot of feedback. He follows me on Instagram. Really cool, actually. It's kind of neat being able to chat with somebody and converse with somebody. AWAG asked me a question. He said, hey, I got a request. Can you do a video on what lubricants you use for your firearms? I've just been using, normal 5W30. I'm assuming he's saying oil on all my guns, but there's so many different lubricants out there. I don't know what people think about different lubricants. So the funny thing about this is I've been using the same cleaners for 20 years now, right? And I just want to say right now, so AWAG, I'm just going to share with you what I use, but this is a very sensitive subject area. I'm not kidding. This is like, what's better, Ford, Chevy, Dodge? Me, I'm a Jeep guy, so I'm usually neutral in the argument. What do you go with? What should you use? And I'm sure I'm going to suggest something, and I'm sure somebody's going to say, oh, that cleaner's crap or whatever. You should not use that. Use this one instead. Use Frog Lube. Use coconut oil, whatever. I keep my selection simple. I just go with stuff I can pick up at my local Walmart. So let's just talk about cleaners real quick. As a general degreaser for a firearm that I've owned for a while that's been cleaned and re-lubed and cleaned, I like to use the Hops Elite, and I don't know how well these are going to focus in, but gun cleaner. It's like $5.50 a bottle at Walmart. This stuff works good, but it doesn't last very long. You can soak your bolt carrier groups in and just spray it on there, and that'll give you a nice dry finish that you can then go back and re-lube. If you get yourself, say, a surplus grade gun, something maybe that's got some cosmoline in the barrel, once you get it all cleaned out, or if you do a lot of shooting, this stuff is nasty, but it does work really well. I mean, nasty isn't a good kind of nasty. Like Powder Blast gun cleaner, if you spray this, you do need to use a straw, okay, to spray it. I highly recommend it. I highly recommend you wear gloves, and you only spray it directly down the barrel. Don't get this stuff on polymer because apparently it will eat up plastic. And so I use this occasionally to clean the barrel on my Mosin Nagant if I take it out and do a lot of shooting. I don't shoot corrosive ammo through that gun, but if I did, that's what I would do. Now, for the internals, for something that cleans well, in my opinion, CLP, all right? You can use it with the straw, you can use it without the straw. Cleaner lubricant preservative. This is what I use on the internals, the bolt carrier group. Sometimes the lower receiver, I like to use something else, but this is good for just kind of getting that nice scrub on, for brushing stuff up and wiping it off. Now, you might complain and say, well, that stuff, it attracts liquid or whatever, it's too greasy. I put this on my firearms, and my guns will sit in my safe for up to a year, okay, before I take them out. And I'll take them out, and they'll still have a nice thin glaze of lubricant on the internals. Nothing's rusting, nothing's corroding. I'm having no issues whatsoever. And then as a light preservative on the outside, I like to use Rem oil, okay? So love it or hate it, I like to use this stuff because it doesn't leave a greasy finish on the guns. I generally will put CLP on a new firearm and just let it sit out over the weekend or let it sit out overnight. And then I'll wipe that off and then rub it down with some Rem oil. And that does a really good job at preserving it, okay? Just on the outside. It's good for like fingerprints. I usually keep some patches inside the cap, and I can just spray my guns down if I ever handle them, or if I need to holster, reholster, I get fingerprints on the guns. I'm kind of a neat freak about keeping my guns clean. And then on the bolt carrier group of the AK-47, I have used multi-duty complex high temperature grease. I did not use this on the RAS-47. But I did use this on my Zastava M77 308 that I owned for quite a while. And it worked fine. I used this stuff down below freezing, and I had no issue at all. Now, the only bad thing about this stuff is it is very thick. You don't need much of it, but it may attract some sand and dirt to your bolt carrier group. So real quick, I just want to take the cover off my AMD 63, which has been safety checked, by the way. And I ran 100 rounds through it at the range today, and so I'm going to start cleaning it up. I told him, hey, it's such a coincidence that you told me you'd like to learn about the cleaners and lubes, because I have a dirty gun, all right? This is the one that was in my range video earlier today. So again, I apologize if this stuff is out of focus. Let's go ahead and get the dust cover off, which on this gun is a bit of a pain in the rear, just because of the fact that it doesn't have the locking button that keeps your recoil spring in place. We're going to put that off to the side. Now, I'm not going to do a whole cleaning video. We're just going to take the bolt carrier group out. And I did give this a nice clean down with CLP. What's good about these guns is once you give them a good protective coating, when you go back and clean them, the next time you're going to have less issues cleaning it. That stuff's going to come right off with the oil, all the carbon, and so on. So let's go ahead and get the bolt carrier group and the piston out. It's not nasty. You can see some carbon buildup on there. A little bit of carbon going on, right? The bottom, it's leaving some residue on my finger. So I'm just gonna spray a little bit of CLP on here, and you can see what it's gonna take off. And then the nice thing about that is that's your cleaner. You take a few more patches and use that to lubricate everything, and then you are basically ready for your next range trip, right? Well, that is filthy, filthy. So, powder blast I'm not gonna use. I'm actually not gonna use hoppies. On these AK bolt carrier groups, I like to keep it fairly well lubricated. So anyway, all right, we'll just take a patch. Only bad thing about this stuff is it is very messy. It'll just spray all over the place if you're not careful. It comes out like a foam. All right, and yeah, you gotta push down on it. It comes out like an oil. Sometimes it comes out like a foam and so on. So there's a lot on here, but I'm really gonna use this to get a good scrub on my piston. You can see, look at all that. That's what's taken off right now. So this makes a great cleaner, lube, and protectant, just like it says in the name. And again, I've been using this stuff for quite a while. I think it was made by somebody else at one point. It wasn't even made by Safari. It was something before it was Safari Land, but I can't remember what. So that is just absolutely disgusting. So yeah, you can see what it's taken off, right? It's doing a great job. So go over the couple patches, wipe off all the muck, and before you know it, you'll have a nice clean bolt carrier group, put a light glaze of CLP on it, and you're ready to go. One thing about this, I took my concealed carry class about 3 years ago. I think it'll be 3 or 4 years in March, and it was like 15 degrees outside, and I had given my my carry, the piece that I was using to qualify with, which at the time it was my Beretta 92 FS compact inox, and it was glazed and lubed up and stuff. And I remember the instructor telling us, well, he's like, I hope you guys didn't put a lot of lube on your guns. If you did, you might want to wipe it off, otherwise your guns are going to freeze. And so I did my qualifying outside. It was literally like 15 degrees out, and I took the gun apart and wiped off some of the lube, but I left most of it on there. Just kind of curious to see what would happen anyway, because it's not that often I'm going to go outside and shoot in sub-zero temperatures unless I have to. And the gun did not freeze up. But that was an all-metal handgun, by the way. The Beretta 92 FS. And so, you don't really have to worry about this stuff freezing up on you. I think you're going to be okay for the most part down to a certain temperature. So this is taking it off. And this has all been coated with CLP. So I highly recommend it on the internals. Now, I'm going to go over all this literally with a fine-tooth comb and my brushes and get it all cleaned out and get out the swabs and so on. But that's what I prefer to use. Again, the rem oil. Let me just show you what I would do with the rem oil. You can use it if you got stuff that's not quite so dirty. You don't want that glaze in there. Let's just take the dust cover, for instance. Rem oil is just more of just like almost like a WD-40, really. Spray it on. Just wipe it out. There's some carbon coming off with that from the shooting I did. I was shooting steel case ammo, so that's why it's going to take some of it off. And I normally will use a patch on it. I've actually got a t-shirt I need to cut up before I start cleaning this gun because I'm all out of regular patches. But anyway, yeah, and that'll just leave a nice like sheen. Okay, I don't know how well that's coming in focus, but it just leaves it simple enough, and it is a nice light glaze, and you're good to go. So like I said, you can clean and lube with that if you have to. I've done that before out in the field. But to me, CLP is definitely the way to go. I just stand behind it. I mean, I'm not sponsored by them, but I do buy enough of it. I should be. I know there's Ballistol, which is really good. There's like SG 9000 or something. Frog lube. Pretty much the main thing is that you are in fact cleaning your gun. That's probably the one thing that you definitely want to make sure that you're doing. So yeah, so AWAG, I hope that answers your question, man. I love rem oil, CLP, Hoppies Elite, Powder Blast occasionally. You could try that high temp grease on any AK-47s that you might have, and just watch videos on YouTube on where you should lube that gun specifically, because you don't have to just coat everything inside the internals of the AK-47. Lower receiver, I will typically use rem oil. I'll spray it out with rem oil and then just wipe it out with patches, and then just wipe it down with either CLP or rem oil. So again, I hope that helps, guys. Okay. Again, just a little update on what we're doing for the channel. Maybe bring a few more range videos this weekend. I got to take that car CT9 out and start breaking it in. It says in the manual it takes 200 rounds to fully break in. I wouldn't be surprised because it's a tight-fitting pistol. It's got a lot of metal inside of it. But it's almost like 1911-esque is what it really reminds me of. Browning style, and so on. So yeah, anyway, I'll keep bringing you more videos. I'll occasionally post the fun, pointless video like I did with Ammo Cat. I hope you enjoyed that one. But yeah, there you go, guys. This is Travis P11. Please like or subscribe. You can check me out over on gunchannels.com. It's the Ordinary Average Guy Gun Channel. Also, you can follow me on Twitter and Instagram. Again, the channel is TravisP11, just on YouTube. It's kind of a pain in the butt. For some reason, it comes up with a spelling mistake when you search for my channel, but that's me. I'm there. So anyway, make sure you check me out. Thanks for supporting the channel, guys. We'll compete. We'll compete. We'll keep bringing you different reviews and different items to show off. So we'll check out that SR9C and that Kel-Tec and in future videos, and we'll go from there. So hey, thanks for watching, guys. Have a great Thanksgiving. I know I got to get this done so I can start packing for tomorrow. Got to get things all lined up. So anyway, you take care. You guys have fun, and we will talk to you soon. All right, bye-bye.